I had always loved my sister. Growing up, she was bright, vivacious, and endlessly charming, the kind of person everyone wanted to be around. And I was the quiet one, the practical one, the one who made order out of chaos. I worked harder than most people realized, turning my passion for cooking into a small, flourishing catering business. Every plate I prepared, every menu I designed, carried pieces of me, my soul, my pride, my sweat. Yet, despite my success, I was never the one in the spotlight. That spotlight always belonged to her. When she called me the other evening, her voice warm and familiar, I had no reason to suspect anything was off. She was excited, almost giddy, announcing her engagement as if it were a headline I had been waiting for. My heart leapt for her. I really did want her to be happy, but somewhere between the congratulations and her bubbly laughter, she casually dropped the bomb. "Oh, and of course, you'll cater the wedding, right, you know, for me." I froze mid-breath, unsure if I had heard her correctly. I laughed nervously, assuming she was joking. You mean professionally, like a proper paid gig?" I asked cautiously. She hesitated for a moment, then waved it off like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Oh, no, you don't need to worry about that, it's family. You'll do it because you love me. It'll be fun, think of it as a gift. The word hung in the air, like a stone, sinking in water. I felt my stomach twist. Every long night I'd spent perfecting recipes, every penny I had poured back into my business, every sacrifice I had made, they suddenly felt invisible. She wasn't asking for my help. She was expecting me to work for free, to bend my life and labor for her celebration, as if my passion and profession meant nothing. I tried to keep my voice steady, masking the hurt I felt, the sting of betrayal that pricked me deeper than I wanted to admit. I can help you plan," I said slowly, "but catering an entire wedding isn't something I can just gift away. It's my livelihood." She laughed it off again, brushing aside my protest like an annoying fly. "Oh, come on, it's your sister, you'll do it. You know you want to." That moment, that casual dismissal of my hard work, ignited something inside me. It wasn't just disappointment. It was anger, and it was personal. I realized then that this wasn't love or family. It was entitlement masquerading as charm. My sister wanted to use me, to take everything I had built for herself, and I decided, right there, that I wouldn't let her get away with it. The days after that conversation were unbearable. Everywhere I turned, I found reminders of my sister's audacity. The flowers in the park, the invitation she left carelessly on the kitchen counter, the casual mentions of her perfect wedding plans, all of it felt like a dagger twisting deeper into my chest. I kept replaying her words, that sly little laugh she always used when she got her way, the way she assumed I would drop everything and cater her wedding for free. My heart ached, not for the wedding itself, but for the way she had stripped my labor and my dreams of value. I remembered all the times she had done this before, the school fundraiser I had poured hours into while she basked in spotlight, the holiday parties she insisted I organize while she entertained friends. Even our parents seemed to turn a blind eye, assuming that siblings helping each other was just part of family life, but this was different. This was my career she wanted to exploit. This was me, my blood, sweat, and tears reduced to a favor. I tried to reason with her carefully, delicately, hoping she would understand. I listed my professional costs, the time, the ingredients, the staff I would need to hire. I even suggested a compromise. She could pay for a portion of the catering, or I could help find a professional team she could afford. But she brushed aside every suggestion with the same ease she had brushed aside my feelings. "Oh, don't be ridiculous. You'll do it. You know I can't afford anyone else like you. And besides, you love me, right?" Her words stung more than I could bear. Love, was this what she called love? Taking advantage of someone's dedication and generosity, demanding it with a smile and calling it affection. Betrayal wasn't just practical, it was deeply personal. She had crossed a line that I wasn't willing to let her cross again. That night, I lay awake thinking, anger and sadness swirling together in a storm I couldn't quiet, and then slowly clarity emerged from the chaos. If she wanted to treat me like this, if she thought she could walk all over me without consequence, then I had to act. I didn't want to be cruel, not really, but I would make her understand in a way she couldn't ignore. She would see the value of my work, the weight of my talent, and the price of underestimating me. I wasn't sure exactly how yet, but one thing was certain. I wouldn't let her exploit me. Not this time. Not ever. The seed of revenge had been planted quietly, almost innocently, but it was there, growing ready to bloom, and when it did, it would be unforgettable. Once the anger settled, something else took its place, clarity. I realized that shouting, arguing, or flat out refusing would only make me look selfish in the eyes of my family. My sister thrived on playing the victim, and I refused to give her that satisfaction. If I wanted justice, I needed to be smarter, quieter, strategic, so I smiled. When she called to check in on the wedding plans, I agreed to help. I told her I was working on something special, something that would make her big day unforgettable. She squealed with excitement, already picturing herself as the generous sister who had convinced me to work for free. What she didn't know was that I had started documenting everything: menus, costs, ingredient lists, staffing hours. I calculated real numbers, professional numbers, the kind no one could argue with. I spent nights designing an extravagant menu, artisan appetizers, multi-course entrees, handcrafted desserts, not because I planned to serve it, but because I wanted to show what my work was truly worth. I researched local catering companies and compared their prices to mine. Every figure I wrote down made my chest feel lighter. This wasn't greed. This was validation. Meanwhile, I let small truths slip into conversation. I mentioned how booked I was, how expensive quality ingredients had become, how wedding catering was one of the most demanding jobs in the industry. She listened, nodding distractedly, never once suspecting that the ground beneath her expectations was slowly cracking. Then came the masterstroke. I suggested we sit down together and finalize the details. I framed it as a way to ease her stress. I brought printed proposals, professional, polished, undeniable. I planned to show her exactly what she had been asking me to give up: every hour of prep, every staff member, every dollar. I knew the numbers would shock her. They shocked me when I first saw them laid out so plainly. But this wasn't about humiliating her. It was about truth, about forcing her to confront the reality she had ignored. If she still wanted me to cater after seeing it all, then she would have to acknowledge my worth, publicly, honestly, and fairly. For the first time since her engagement announcement, I felt powerful, calm, in control. I wasn't being cruel. I was being fair, and fairness, I had learned, feels like revenge to those who have always gotten their way. As I organized my papers and rehearsed my words, one thought echoed in my mind. She wanted a free wedding miracle. What she was about to receive was a lesson served warm, perfectly plated, and impossible to send back. The day of the wedding arrived, bright and golden, filled with scent of roses and the hum of excitement. My sister moved through the venue like a queen, blissfully unaware that the carefully constructed illusion I had woven was about to collapse around her. I stayed in the background, smiling, calm, perfectly composed, while she floated through the crowd, expecting her free, flawless catering as if it were her due. When she finally asked me to go over the final catering details, I led her to a quiet corner and laid everything out. The proposals, printed and bound like a professional contract, gleamed under the sunlight. I handed them to her, keeping my expression neutral. She skimmed the pages and then looked up, her confident smile faltering. "Wait, how much is this?" I let my voice remain soft, almost conversational. "That's the full cost of professional catering for your guest list, including staff, ingredients, rentals, and preparation time. If I were to do it myself without charging, it would be, well, it's the equivalent of several months of my income." Her eyes widened. I could see the shock, the dawning realization that she had assumed my love and family loyalty would cover years of effort, talent, and money. But you said," she stammered, trying to recover her composure. "You said you'd." I shook my head gently. "I said I'd help, but help doesn't mean giving away my work for free. You wanted a wedding catered by a professional. Here it is. The price is what it truly costs." For the first time, I saw embarrassment mix with guilt and something else, awe. She had always seen me as the quiet, willing sister, the one who would sacrifice herself without complaint. But now, standing there with the full weight of her entitlement exposed, she saw me differently. She saw my worth. I continued, my voice calm but firm. "Family isn't about taking advantage. It's about respect. I love you, but I won't let my labor be treated as nothing. You should have understood that from the start. She didn't respond immediately. I could tell she was reeling, processing not just the numbers but the lesson behind them. Slowly, the color drained from her face, and she finally whispered, I never realized, and that was enough. Not revenge for revenge's sake, but vindication, a restoration of balance. I didn't gloat. I didn't laugh. I simply smiled, collected my proposals, and walked away. As I moved through the crowd, hearing whispers of admiration from relatives who had overheard parts of our conversation, I felt estranged. Soaring relief, I had defended myself without malice, reclaimed my self-worth, and made sure my sister learned something important. Love and family don't mean exploitation. For the first time, I realized that true revenge doesn't have to be cruel. Sometimes, it's just honesty, served clearly, with a side of pride. And it's sweeter than anything I could ever cook.